This might be a big mistake. If it's a big mistake, I'll stop and adjust. I'm kind of cross-eyed looking at these. Okay. We make do with what we have here. Okay. Vulnerability. That's what I wrote the song about. Because none of us are perfect, but we conjure perfect spectacles on Instagram to make our stuff look perfect. I mean, I don't even know. I don't have Instagram. But I figure if people are staring at it for a really long time and comparing their crappy lives to the lives on Instagram, then, you know. I mean, I'm not saying life isn't crappy. I just hear people talking about what they have not accomplished in their lives because they're looking at Instagram. I wanted to write a song so that people would know that I only make sense to myself. Is it okay if my hair is tangled up and getting gray? Is it okay if I don't moisturize the wrinkles around my eyes? Is it okay if I say I've never sinned? Is it okay that I just stares in my skin? Is it okay if I swear that when I speak? Is it okay that I got bunions on my feet? Is it okay if I'm in therapy? Is it okay if I write a song all about me? Is it okay if I wish my children were more happy? Is it okay that I failed them in many ways? Is it okay if I say that I felt free when my father passed away? Faded into you. Faded into you. Is it okay if I say it's my loves that weigh me down? And I won't give up a single pound of the heartbreak that's come and gone, and the heartache that is sure to come, because I love because I love. I heard an interview done one time and a woman talked about that. It was like the things that she loves the most are the things that hurt her the most. And so when I wrote this song, loving like that makes you vulnerable. You know, loving anything, loving my kids, you know, it makes you vulnerable. And so it's not just people and it's not just, you know, things. Like my son, you know, he's in jail and I love him very much, but I also loved having coffee with him in the morning. And I love, you know, there's all sorts of things inside relationships that you love when you love somebody. It's not, oh, I love you. You can say the things that you love about them, or man, I love how I used to do this with my grandma, or I love how we used to go to this place to pick berries, or it's all these loves that bring you the most pain in your life. So either you just stop loving or else you just accept that pain as a part of, you know, as a part of being human and having a heart and allowing yourself that. So you can see that for me, you know, writing it really helps me say stuff that I think. And especially this song is very new. And I took care of my dad, and I remember when he passed away, he had Alzheimer's, and I would take care of him, and I would like have to change his, you know, take care of his toileting and everything, and I remember when he passed away, I couldn't really tell if I was relieved, like, oh gosh, that's done, or if I was relieved for him. I think I was relieved for him. But when I had that thought, like, oh my God, thank God dad is like, oh, I would feel like, oh God, how I should be ashamed for thinking that. So I put that in the song too, because maybe a lot of people feel like that. I'm not the only one who's taking care of sick people in their family. It's a hard thing, but it's, you know, it's good too. It helps you. I think the deeper you experience things, even though it could be like in the moment sad, being allowed to experience that makes you, a deeper person because you're feeling deeper. So I talked about my son who's in jail, and I wrote a song about him because I think there are a lot of parents whose adult kids are, you know, we think, oh, you're making bad decisions. So this is a little short story. If I can remember it without singing it, I start speaking songs, but it goes, I'll take the blame for all your pain because you can't seem to give it to the rocks. Maybe we could climb a mountain and leave it at the top and just fly back down. Your eyes and your words are weapons now, used against the ones who won't fight back, but they have daydreams about you getting your power back, and you ain't a storm they gotta brace themselves for no more. I'm getting old, you're still my son, and my prayer for you is still the same one, that your pain becomes fire in your eyes, reflecting a brilliant sunrise. Put down your tobacco and say a prayer, then just go from there. And if you leave your pain and blame up on the mountain, I promise never to sing this song again. So when Justice is in my car, he'll say, Mom, play my song. Mom, play my song. Because on the record, at the end of that song, my son, he's a rapper and a poet, so he has a spot at the end of that song, and they really work good together, the two parts. So he's a storyteller too. stories in words, stories in pictures or images. There's a line in that song that says, I tell stories on my skin, and I don't believe in sin. I think that there's respect and disrespect. It makes us more accountable, I think, than be saying a prayer to be forgiven, and then you just kind of go on your way, and you can do it again if you want. So, yeah, I mean, I think if anyone out there is a writer or wants to write, it's just really trying to be precise in what you want to say. Try to be as precise as you can and leave out all the filler words. I think that makes a good song. And if you're not sure how to do that, if you guys ever written haiku poetry, it's 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables, and you make a complete thought. And if you can exercise and do that, then you're writing without filler words. So I'm also, Gage said, I'm an activist. I try to organize and I try to get people informed. I think the first step to any kind of change is just being informed on what's happening. And I mean, I don't always do it. I'm just in the middle of something right now, and I'm not sure how long. But back home right now, you guys, I tap trees and I make maple syrup. And I think in Michigan or Detroit, or in this area, it's been over with. The season ended. And but there's a company coming to my forests from the East Coast, and they want to build a OSB plant, and they want to harvest 400,000 cords of wood annually, popple, maple, ash, and all these trees are special. And I relate it to that book, The Lorax. You know, I got the one slur coming in and biggering his factory, and then so I tell people I'm the Lorax. I think I'll keep this here. It kind of worked okay. So this song, I just thought of it. John Trudell. There's references to John Trudell in this one too. I'm practicing. Okay. So as I sing this song, try to think about somebody in your life who was more than just an acquaintance or a friend on Facebook. Think about someone who would really have your back. You know what I'm saying? If if shit really hit the fan, who would have your back? And then whose back would you have? So this song is called St. John and McQuam. St. John is John Trudell and McQuam is my big brother. Okay. Fighting fear with both in my face. Landing right hooks seems so useless. Put down the gloves and pray instead. St. John reminds me that the fear's in your head. Big brother getting me away. By standing calm in the tempest. St. John on my left, big brother on my right. The beast is coming fast and is hungry for a fight. Fire falls all around us, with harder times on the horizon. Dancing along with many suns in their eyes, and my gentle angry heart raging inside. This is my homeland, and I've sworn to protect it from all enemies, foreign and domestic. My suit of armor made of Copenhagen woods deflect and protect, 'cause the beast never sleeps. Fire falls all around us, with harder times on the horizon. Advancing on line, with many suns in their eyes, and my gentle angry heart raging inside. St. John and Macron, they help me to be brave. One lands the right hooks, and the other one prays. Fire falls all around us, with harder times on the horizon. Advancing online, with many suns in their eyes, and my gentle angry heart raging inside. So I wrote that song during pipeline, the Line 3 pipeline, and I know there's pipelines in Michigan that are a threat to water, major waterways. But I think it's important, even if you think, oh, I can't win that fight, you know, we can't win it. It's important that we do something, that we try and we do something and make some changes in our own lives that will help make the change stay instead of ebb and flow, you know, and our. So this thing I was talking about, this Huber mill and these trees, and I told you I went to school for carpentry. And so now I'm building stuff, but I'm also using trees. So carpentry and deforestation kind of go together. So you see I'm in a kind of, you know, but I flew here on an airplane with a coat that says love water, not oil. But that's okay, you know. I people ask me, oh, you love water, not oil, but you're, you know, putting gas in your car. I said, no, man, it's a true statement. I do love water. I'm addicted to oil just like you are. So it's a very true statement. So, this Huber mill, it has set up shop in other parts of the country and left just the landscape in ruins. And so building and carpentry, right? I started researching other ways to build. And you guys, I found the answer. I found the answer to getting rid of OSB. And the answer is hemp. Build a house with hemp. And you don't need house wrap or plastic or sheetrock or siding or OSB. You use hemp. It's a great insulator for, you know, cold parts of the country, and it'll keep you warm in the winter and cool in the summer. It takes You can harvest it in 70 days instead of 30 years. It's good for the environment. 1 acre of hemp pulls more carbon out of the air than an acre of trees. And if your house is made of hemp, it continues to pull carbon out of the air. So the quality of your air inside your home is better. It won't catch on fire. You won't have wiring fires. So I think when you're opposed to something, you got to have a little answer. You can't just say, yeah, down with this. But what else, So I'm preaching the gospel of hemp from now on. It's really strange how imbalance can come when you take away something or you bring something. It causes an imbalance in that whole place it comes to. So you get pipelines and miles of pipeline brings in hundreds of pipeliners, right? Some of them pipeliners are nasty men. I'm talking like criminal men. And so there's this problem that comes with pipelines, and it's called man camps. So man camps are very scary for Indian women, especially when they're coming through, close to reservations and communities of Native people, like in North Dakota or Bismarck. A girl can't even walk to Walmart alone. So we have this other problem, and they call it missing and murdered Indigenous women. But it's been around a long time. It's been around before pipelines. It's been around for a very long time. So I wrote a song about that. I guess I write about things that kind of bother me. I haven't played it. I wasn't even going to play it today, but I'll, if whatever happens. So I wrote this song in particular about a specific woman. It's really hard. It's hard to sing this sometimes. She prayed to the moon in all her phases. She walked on sunlight, no day was wasted. And now she don't hardly pray no more. And now she don't hardly pray. She played a piano, songs of purple and red, but somehow they turned blue instead. And now she don't hardly play no more. And now she don't hardly play. At twilight she retreats from all the strangeness, lavender skies turning dark fast. And now we don't hardly see her no more. This is really hard because because these numbers are so high. But they're not just numbers, they're people. People with stories, and dreams and everything. And this song was about my own daughter. So when you hear statistics and numbers about the number of women, think about that. If someone's daughter. And usually I sing that song just fine. Usually, I don't know. Maybe there's someone. I tell people, when I sing the song, a lot of people who have been assaulted, they they carry it around. It's like this shame that they carry around, and they shouldn't have to, but they do, and you can't see it. They pass people all the time, every day, and I bet a lot of them are carrying that kind of shame, like, the last verse of that song was actually I cut out the last verse, but maybe to honor my daughter, I should sing it. Let me think where I ended. She waits for healing out in the distance. On the sunset line she dances, and now she dances, and now she dances, and now she dances. There, that's the end of that song. I couldn't just leave it like that, eh? Stories. You can talk about the hard stuff. I think songs and music carry the hard stuff deeper, and they carry the hard stuff more powerfully, I think, than like just talking and saying, "Hey, man, this is going on. Don't you know it?" And so if you are aspiring, to write, I think writing and expressing yourself and saying real things is really important. And I think that there's a lot of phony things being said. I mean, look at mainstream radio, full of pointless stuff. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this girl won a Grammy for talking about breaking up with her boyfriend, but she still drives by his house because she thinks he might want her back. And, I mean, and that's what's winning. But we can change that, let's just be coherent, and I don't know. My mother, let me see if I can do. My mom, she's an activist. My mother went to Chiapas in 1996. And it was kind of, a lot of stuff happening down there. And she went there with a group to be part of like this delegation of objective observers, like looking what's happening. What is the Mexican government doing to the indigenous people, and the United States is supplying them with their weaponry to oppress their people. This is a big mess. Everything is usually a big mess. That was the mess then. But people in Chiapas, are still, fighting for land rights and human rights and things like that. So my mom was down there. And when she came home, she said, "You know what? I learned something, Annie." And I said, "What, Mom?" And she said, "I learned that no matter what we do, it'll never be enough. But we can do too little." So she said, just don't get caught doing nothing, And then my mom also went to Mothers of the World Peace Summit, where women gathered in, where did she go? Vienna. And they went there to talk about how to keep children safe in countries that were, war-torn. And, because the refugees in those countries are 98% women and kids. And but that stuck with me, what she'd said about no matter what we do, it'll never be enough. This little pedal kind of keeps sliding around on me. So yeah, I'll get it. And, we the people drink oceans of oil. It's not right, we say, as we drive our car to the grocery store just a half a mile away. We cut our way through forest after forest and we scream, "This isn't right," but we'll go out to dinner and pick our teeth with wooden toothpicks tonight. But Mama came down from the mountains of Chiapas. She warned, "Don't let the oppressors stop us. Whatever we do, it'll never be enough. Let's not get caught doing nothing at all." We build new mountains, see them on the horizon, built with styrofoam and diapers. As we shake our head at the ugly mess, we carry organic food home in plastic. Well, Mama came down from the mountains of Chiapas. She warned, don't let the oppressors stop us. Whatever we do, it'll never be enough. Let's not get caught doing nothing. My son has a son. The damage is done. Is it too late to try to even try? My son has a son. There's nowhere to run. And when that new boy wants to know why, tell him Mama came down from the mountains of Chiapas. She warned, don't let the oppressors stop us. Whatever we do, it'll never be enough. Let's not get caught doing nothing at all. Doing nothing, doing nothing, doing nothing at all. So we have another generation, coming up. And I think about them, and I think about how it was when I was a kid, and a lot has changed. Diana, I don't know how old you are. Joe, we lived without cell phones for most of our life. Yeah. And people are like, what? Well, how did you guys get a hold of people? I don't know. And how did you get, we had an atlas, right? You go through one state and you turn the page and you find the other state you're coming into, and that's how we got around. And there were no phones, no social media. And now we live in this world where you've never existed without them. And so that's why I had a phone, where my finger could slide the screen up and down. And then, but I was looking at it too much. I was looking, and I'm not even on social media. I was looking at Pinterest and cool stuff I could build. But I was, nevertheless, I was spending a lot of time staring at my little screen and, ooh, that would be cool. And that's cooler yet. And when it's getting cooler and cool. So then I'm like, I'm going to quit looking at this phone. So I got a flip phone. And my little flip phone doesn't check emails. It doesn't do much. But I really like it because, in order to text, you got to press the A button 3 times to get a C. Then you got to press a space bar, and then you got to press your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 3 times to get an I. So, you're and just, it's like grinding coffee, right, Gage? You got without and don't use the electric one, use the windy one. I don't know, just it's you guys, it adds to your life story. It makes the journey sweeter. I'll tell you guys a story. My mom, she fasted. So we do this thing, right? You probably heard it called the Vision Quest. But my mom, she fasted and she prayed for, direction. And you stay and you don't eat and you're in this little space. And answers come. Now, they might come, who knows where they come from, who cares where they come from, but they come. If you sat alone in a little black space, alone with yourself, answers are going to come no matter what you believe. You're with yourself. So anyway, my mom did that a few times in her life. And she came crawling out one day after she was done, and she would say, you don't got to do 4 days or whatever they say. You come out when you're done. So she was done, and she came out. And we wait and we wait. And what did they tell you, Mom? What did they tell you? And finally she told us, she said, when we die, we're met by Creator, and Creator asks us 3 questions. She said, the first question that Creator asks us is, did you have a good journey? Because Creator wants us to have a good journey, not a fearful, oh, I'm going to burn if I do that journey. It's a good journey. The second question, were you good to your relatives? Meaning people, but trees and fish and deer and squirrels. Were you good to your relatives? And the third question is different for everybody. But so what I now know to be true, because my mom heard it in this sacred place, that we have to have a good journey. We need to be happy and have a good journey, and we got to be kind to our relatives. And I think if we do those 2 things, everything will work out just fine. You do those 2 things. So keep those things in mind, and it's like anything else. You got to practice it, right? Something you got to practice. And I didn't think of it again until I sat here and said, oh, I just tell them about my mom. I think it's a good lesson. It's good teaching. Have a good journey and be kind to your relatives. Because sometimes I think we're too passive. I don't want this to turn into church or anything, but sometimes we are. And so I'm going to get kind of personal here. There might be some shenobs out there saying, oh, maybe talk about ceremony. You can be talking about what you say in the lodge, but, if it helps, I will. So sometimes we have our ceremonies, right? And it's ritualistic. So we have a certain thing that happens every time we get together. And then there's like a certain direction, and there's a certain round for certain prayers. See, I'm not giving it all away. And I found myself sitting in my ceremony, with my family or whoever I'm, in the lodge with, and I'm saying the same prayer. Oh, Creator, please go help Uncle so-and-so. He needs help. Go, Creator, could you please help? And that's how the prayers were going. And then we get together again, and I'd be like, yeah, so-and-so still needs help. Creator, please send help to Uncle so-and-so. And I start thinking, like, why is nothing happening for Uncle so-and-so? So instead of sitting there and saying the same prayer every month, why don't I go visit Uncle so-and-so? So it became more like almost like the ceremony is now like a check-in time. Hey, what's happened since we were together last? What have the helpers told you? And what have you gone and done? It's more like that. And even the words you choose to speak, are powerful. There's power in words, and there's power in thought, and there's power in prayers. And so in my family, one of my kids will walk in the house and say, oh my God, Mom, the helpers came and they helped me find my phone, or helped me find my keys, or Mom, the helpers came, I almost hit a deer, but that's the vocabulary in the house. So the more you acknowledge the helpers, the more they're going to come. Or maybe that's not it. Maybe the more you acknowledge the helpers, the more you see the help, instead of, oh, yeah, I was lucky. Or, yeah, oh, good thing I missed that. It's all a state of mind, you guys, and it's all how we look at things. And you understand? Kind of, yeah, you understand. I can't see live streamers, but I hope that you can hear. I know the microphones are sometimes funny, but I hope that you are getting something out of my ramblings. And there's I was talking about the generation before, And so I do have grandsons. And they taught me a lot. They teach me so much. My first grandson taught me so much that I actually named him Adazukan. Because he'll, his existence is all the teaching to me. Carry your organic food home in plastic and drink Diet Coke out of styrofoam. What a hypocrite. We try. We try. I started talking about my grandsons. I'll save that for the end. There's another thing happening in this society, and it's just a lot of mental health. I don't call sick, but again, I think I contribute some of the anxiety and depression in my own family on too much screens. And my grandsons watch YouTube and they, hey, grandma, unspeakable, whatever, did this prank. I'm like, who? Or they talk about YouTube things. And my grandson, there was some prank. This kid took cash out of his mom's purse for a prank and hid it. And then he watched his mom freak out about, where'd my money go? And my grandson must have thought it was funny, because I laid down on my bed one night and I saw a little colorful wallet between my wall and the nightstand. I'm like, wow, whose wallet that is? So I reached back and I opened it, like $500 in there. I'm like, wow, maybe my son is stashing cash so he don't spend it. So I put it back. And then my grandson walked in. I said, hey, Zane, is this your wallet? And he goes, oh, grandma, let me have that. I said, isn't it your wallet? Yeah, but just let me see it, okay? Can I have it back, please, mom? I mean, grandma, can I just give it to me? I said, whose money is in this wallet? And he started just to cry. He just started crying on the spot. And he said, it was a prank I saw on YouTube and I pranked my mom, but then she took her purse and left and I couldn't put the money back. So the money had been sitting there and his mom was like looking, oh, there's our rent and there's all this. And he was just crying. And I just told him, when your mom picks you up, Zane, you need to face the music and you need to give her back that money. You need to tell her what happened and tell her why. And you need to just tell her. And he just said, she's gonna be so mad. I said, yeah, she probably will be, but you got to face the music. I kept saying, he's like, well, I don't want to. So yeah, I think that YouTube is trying to replace our moral teachings to our kids. YouTube is trying to inspire, so they can't find their own inspiration. And I just think it's really creepy. I think it's really creepy that you can talk about eating mac and cheese and then Kraft macaroni ads come up on your stuff. That's creepy. That's creepy, guys. Everybody, you live streamers looking at your screens, joking. I'm just joking. But yeah, it's reaching in, man. And it's creating a different kind of brain, because we're given this brain and we form pathways in it and we learn and so you look at your phone and it's true, the attention span of someone scrolling is very short, 8 seconds, because I would be driving and my daughter be on her phone and she'd stop, boom, 8, 7, 6, scroll, okay, doom, 8, and I could never get to 1 because and our brains are just getting like mushy. and we have children, and my grandsons are like 5, and he has an iPad or a tablet, and that's what he does his work on, and there's spell correcting and stuff. And yeah, it's creating a different people than me and Joe. I'm just picking on Joe. You got gray hair, Joe. So this song is about our mental health, I think. Is the FAA here? Can I swear? I can swear? Fuck yeah. Days go by, I don't know where to go. They pass by and disappear down the road, and my feet are frozen to the ground. I can't make a sound. In the silence, I hear the trees and my heart pound inside of me. Inside of me. What days would you choose if you could call them back to you? Would you want skies so blue or the dark days that tried to crush you? Days go by with them hard, for you let them go. Then let them disappear down the road. Down the road. Down the road. Smile and wave goodbye. It was a good day. It was a good day. Close your eyes and rest, 'cause a new life is on the way. Then swim against the current of shit. Remember, you're not a force to fuck with them. Dive into the sunrise, wash and pray by the riverside, by the riverside, by the riverside. I forget lyrics sometimes. I don't practice enough. That's my excuse. I'm gonna do. Oh, it's only 20 after 5. I have an email if you wanted to like comment or say, Annie, you're full of crap, or I really got something out of this, what you said, or I really like that one song or whatever, or not. It doesn't, you know. But Annie Humphrey Music is my email, all one word, Annie Humphrey Music. I check my own email. I'll write back to you. But I have records on Bandcamp, or not records, sorry, I'm old. CDs on Bandcamp, or you can download them. And Bandcamp, there's one called Eat What You Kill. and one called The Beast and the Garden. Yeah, I still have a CD player, and I like having CDs. But you can go to Bandcamp, and there's no price on it. Just like you just name your own price, and you can have one. It'd be really cool if we go back to bartering and trading and stuff, and not worry about money so much. So we're coming into a thing called a housing bubble. I'll tell you guys a story about a housing bubble. It's when only people with a lot of money can afford to buy a house. So people who are poor are for sure not going to get a house. So I'm trying to figure out, and if you all can help me, that'd be awesome. Email me with answers. But how do we provide homes in communities where there's a home shortage and they don't have money to buy a house? You know, how do you get people homes? So I thought the hemp thing would be really cool, but now I'm like, okay, I got to buy, either find someone to grow it, then we need a processing facility. So yeah, it's just a lot to figure out, but I think we can. I think we can in my lifetime. But bartering. Then I thought, man, if people were good at something, why can't we build them a house and have them do this stuff for the rest of the people? I don't know what. Find a way without money. Could we build homes for people and compensate the builders without money? I think it would take a special builder for one thing. And it would take someone who wants to live in a smaller house, because we're not going to be building 2-3 bedroom houses. We'd be building small 18 by 22 for a family of 3 or 4. We could add a loft. Wouldn't that be cool? So if any of y'all are builders out there, or any of you guys build with hemp, email me. Because really I'm desperate for answers. You know, the reservation is kind of a desperate place. Well, it's desperate. We've been driving around the city of Detroit. There's desperation all around us. And, you know, what can we do about it? Can we just pray about it? Or can we do things about it? Or don't do nothing? Yeah. There's so many problems, you guys. Find one, tackle it. Don't got to be housing. But now I'm going to sing a song called Atazukan. Atazukan is my grandson. And it's a really big word. It's a really cool word. Kokomisana means grandmother. And my grandsons call me Kokomisana. I think it's so cool. It's a really cool word. Kokomisana. It's also the name of a drum group in Canada. And I know that because I was at a powwow with my dad, and they said, Kokomisana, you're on deck. And I said, Dad, what's Kokomisana mean? He goes, grandmother. That's when Canadians say grandmother. I was like, oh, I love that. Atazukan, fear. Kokomisana vows to stay near. The giant is waking and the earth is quaking. Atazukan, Atazukan, have no fear. The mountains are rumbling and the towers crumbling everywhere. The fires and the floods have begun everywhere. The system is desperate and obscene. So I say, fuck you all, you motherfuckers, you're just a violent, racist regime. Adu Khan, have no fear. Adu Khan, have no fear. Remain on our homeland. It holds all that you need. Adu Khan, the way is in our stories. Dance them back to life and leave them where you go. Encourage resistance and love will surely grow. Adu Khan, have no fear. Adu Khan, have no fear. I think Brian Babb, he said, Annie, true freedom, if you want to live truly free, then you live without fear. That's kind of radical. I don't know. Think about that one. So I was singing that song thinking it'd be kind of cool to talk. If anyone has any, anyone here has anything to say, anything that will help us. And I think we all have things to share. I think we're all put on this earth to help each other. And I think we're all in this room for some reason. I don't know, there's, y'all are strangers to me, and all of our lives, our whole lives led us here. That's a story thing again, eh? Yeah, I mean, I guess, when I'm in front of people and they nod, it helps me. Like, I see you nodding, I'm like, yeah, okay, then I'm okay. I'm just, yeah. Because, I've done other places and they're like, or after I'm done, they're like, dear, are you sad? I'm like, no, I'm not sad. There's a lot of sad stuff going on. So I write about it, but I'm actually very happy. Anybody want to say anything? You got anything? This is very comfortable. That's cool, getting comfortable. Diane, have any thoughts? Mhm. Well, you guys, I was just talking to Gajiga today, and I don't know. For me, it happens like all of a sudden and very clear. Yeah, it's like Forrest Gump when he's running across America, and one day he stops and says, "I'm gonna go home now." That's kind of how it. Yeah, like one day I was sitting in a cafeteria. I was working in a kindergarten classroom for 3 years, helping the little ones with their breakfast trays and their lunch trays and reading them books and this and that. One day I was in the cafeteria and I thought, if I don't get out of here today, I will never leave here. So that day after work, I went and enlisted in the Marine Corps. That's how fast it happened. I was sitting in the lunchroom and I had to get out of there. That day after work, I drove over there, and I wasn't necessarily thinking Marine Corps. I was just thinking, I'm going to enlist in something. And at that time, the recruiting offices held all the branches in one building. And I was looking at posters, and I thought, the Navy uniform, I didn't really like the uniform. The Army guy wasn't in. Then I saw the poster of the Marine Corps and the woman and the dude in his dress blues and the woman in her dress blues. And I didn't know women could be Marines. So I walked right in there and I said, I want to be I want to enlist. I said, but make sure you make it happen fast or I'll change my mind. And like 2 weeks from sitting in the cafeteria to flying to Paris Island for 13 weeks of boot camp. That's how fast it happened. And then becoming a singer. I wasn't always a singer. I came out of the military and I had a kid on the way when I got out, and then I had another kid, and we were on welfare. And in the mid 90s, there was welfare reform. They were going to start sanctioning if you didn't try to get employment, you were going to get sanctioned. You wouldn't get your money, or they were going to start cutting back on funding for childcare. Anyway, everything was starting to. I'm like, oh my God! I'm like, I was so dependent on food stamps and my little welfare check that I thought, what am I going to do? I don't want to leave my kids at a daycare. And that was another thing. Bam! There's my guitar. I'll go try and sing at a coffee house. So I got on the phone and said, hey, can I come play? Do you guys pay? They're like, with tips, $35 in tips to sing for 2 hours. So I said, okay, is there a certain day this month I can do it? And they gave me a date, and I took my guitar, and I had one kid in an infant carrier and the one walking behind me, and we went, and that's what started. Welfare reform. Welfare reform helped me become a singer. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, Diana, it's almost like necessity out of necessity. And yeah, that's what I always felt like. It wasn't like pondering, should I or shouldn't I? And I do things like real fast. Like the engine blew in this van I bought. I paid $7,000 for this big, nice van. Well, could have been too nice because the engine blew. But the leather chairs in the front, and then the captain's chairs, and then the big queen seat that folds into a bed, and cool little lights and the TV. And I'm like, I can travel with the grandsons in it. I can fit my piano in back, and well, the engine blew. $5,700 to pay for it. Yeah. And I'm like, how bad do I need it? Yes, I need it. Hey, fix my motor. I'll get the money. I thought I should ask my husband. Now I'm not gonna ask nobody. I just have to do it. I don't want to mess around with this. I don't want to discuss it. I just want to do it. So I'm a Libra. I don't know if that my kids say, Mom, you're such a Libra. But yeah. I think and then I think if you watch for signs in your own life, the signs are pretty clear if you're looking for them, right? They're pretty clear. And So I became a singer, and I stayed on welfare. I was committing welfare fraud. Well, there's social workers in the audience. I was committing fraud because I was getting like money, right? But I was getting $321 for 2 kids. That's less than the allowance for the pets at the White House, right? So I thought, well, I wasn't making enough money singing yet. I was making, little here and there. So one day I said a prayer and I said, Creator, if I can make more than 321 bucks in a month, I'll close I'll close it off. I'll close my case. Well, don't you know, like the next month I got a call from the Ordway Theater in St. Paul and they said, hey, we're looking for a singer. We'll pay you 400 bucks. I'm like, oh my God, there's my answer. So I called, I said, could you close my case? And they're like, did you get employment? I said, no, I just need you to close my case. Okay, you could stay on food stamps. I just want to close my case. And so they closed it and I didn't make $400 next month. And probably not the next month either. So it was really a struggle, but but in my mind, I'm like, but I told Creator that I would do it. And that's another thing that happened and then I was working on this compilation with some other people, brand new in music. And I got a call from a record label that recorded Native people, but nonetheless, it was a record label who wanted to record my stuff. And so I went there and I recorded 2 records with them. And in 2004, they have this thing called the Native American Music Awards. And in 2004, my first record won Female Artist and Best Folk Recording. And I didn't even go. I didn't go because I'm like, I'm not gonna win anything, and it's a lot of money to travel. I'm gonna stay home, and yeah. And then this lady called me, Annie, you won! Oh my God! I'm like, wow. Okay, make another record. Try it again. So did it again, and yeah, life is just really. It's not all one thing, and so it's important, I think, to find a lot of things that make you happy. I do a lot of different things. I was telling my friend who plays guitar. He plays guitar. He hurt his wrist. Can't play guitar, and now he's like sad and I'm like, dude, there's other stuff, And I thought to myself, if I could never sing another song for the rest of my life, would I still be happy? I'm like, yeah, I would. Yeah, I would. No problem. I would be totally happy. And so I think it's important that you don't put all your eggs in one little basket. That was a long answer, Diana. That was, yeah. 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 Gage, you good? You have anything you want to say? Teach us something. I'm really impressed, these 2 young ladies here. They've come all the way to my homeland to tap trees and help make maple syrup. And they chop wood. Remember you guys chop wood? Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, they wanted to learn, so they came. And then they're like, I was talking about, well, we net fish. And they're like, oh, can we come in and do that too? I'm like, sure. Didn't think they show up. They show up. And they're cleaning fish. Cleaning fish. And you have a film that documented your trip and the fish cleaning and the learning that happened. It's just really cool that people always say they want to learn, but they don't really show up. And so when you show up, I think that's the only way you're going to learn. You could Google it, right? And you can learn how to do sap and tap trees, but on a screen, but you're not going to touch a tree or taste the sap or smell the fire or have cold feet, whatever. Yeah, important. I say, everybody throw your phone away. I, I, I'm just radical. Like if people say, yeah, you should run for tribal chairman. I would never run for tribal chairman. You don't want me to be a tribal chairman. If I was tribal chairman, I'd eradicate every casino. They'd be like, gaming. Oh no. No. Yeah. Yes. Mhm. Oh, that. Oh no, I have none of those. Another thing I did, you guys, I got certified as a yoga instructor. Now I don't teach yoga, but they really teach you a lot about your layers and your your energy channels and meditation. So I feel like meditating is a good thing, but that doesn't help me write songs. Um, Actually, I really don't know when they're gonna come, but I sit at my piano every day. I have a big old up. That's not it's my daughter's piano. She always says, "That's my piano, mom." But I just slide in there and I just so I don't read. So I just kind of sit there and I'm like, and I'll find something cool. Like I found that, you guys, it was a song. This like first it was this, and then I found same chord on this hand. I found that minor. Right, Allison? You go to minor, and it goes back to major. So I'm working on that. That's the music is coming first. And then when I have that, I'll just wait for the lyrics. Usually lyrics come, you guys, and like I find one really cool line, and then I'll just try to build. And it usually becomes my refrain. The cool line comes back to become a chorus. Yeah, I don't I just sit and play every day, and little things come. And I have a notepad, and I'll write down a few ideas, and or I'm inspired by like the thing about the woman who said, "My loves are what bury me. My loves bury me and cause my pain in my life." I'm like, wow, yeah, you know. And then I I was sitting. I have one grandson, Jasper. He loves the woods more than Zane, I think. Jasper, if I gotta go, I'm like, I gotta go collect sap. I know it's getting darker out, but we gotta go do it. Jasper, I'll go with you, Grandma. And we'll be around the fire. And one day he said to me, he was 4 years old. He said, "Grandma, did you know that the smoke brings spirits?" And I said, "How do you know that?" And he said, "The fire told me." Now he's 3. And in our ceremonies, the fire is the doorway that the spirits come and go. That's where there's fire at every ceremony. That's the doorway that our helpers can come and travel into our realm and go to back to the. And so I thought that was really cool. I thought that was like profound, amazing, right? And I remember I wrote a haiku. Smoke brings the spirits. How do you know? I asked him. The fire told me. Okay, so it's 575. And then I was there and I actually had a pen, so I wrote it into my old work bibs and it's still there, my haiku. So when I sit by the fire, I'm like, oh yeah, Jasper told me that the spirits are traveling and the smoke brings them and sends them. And so this song is actually like going to be about Jasper. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and write it, but I mean, that's how I do it. I'm like, oh, how can I make that fit into this? But I went through the whole pandemic, never wrote anything. I went for 10 years of my whole life, didn't write anything. I was, when I got off welfare, you guys, and I said that little prayer, and I'm like, okay, now, and then I got a record deal, and then I won awards, and then I was traveling, and I had my kids on the road, and I was homeschooling them, and we were in East Coast, West Coast, Toronto, we were going all over, and I was playing with people, and like Jackson Brown, he was just playing with him like he was a brother man to me, and then one day my kid said to me, because we got put out of our house, so we were living out of our truck, and I had a dresser with 6 drawers, a low boy dresser slid in my truck, and I keep their clothing in it, and I would keep their laundry, and we're trying to live in the back of this truck. And they didn't really know it, you know. I remember one night I made the bed, and we had our blankets and our pillows, and we were driving so much that I climbed in bed with Justice and Geezus, she's all little. She said, "Mommy, but who's gonna drive?" Like, we're always on the move in that truck, and I'm like, "No, we're sleeping, we're not driving." But we were like, and we had pet rats, and the poor rats died because one time we left them in the front of the truck, and it was sunny. It was bad. But yeah. So we were 9 months living like that. It was hard to find a place to live. I would show up to look at a little apartment, and they'd never call me back. I just couldn't find a place to live. And so anyway, we found this little house. Luckily, we met this couple, and my kids just charmed them. They're like, oh, they're so cute. And we have a house for rent, but it's like in this town in Wisconsin, so I took it. And then I was still homeschooling, you know, traveling. We'd come and go. We had finally had a home base, and we were going here and there. And then one day, we had neighbors, and they were the same age as my kids, and they would go to school during the day. And I remember my kids were like, "Hey, Mom, we're going to go see what Justin and Holly are doing." I'm like, "Well, you can't. They're in school." They're like, "School?" I said, "Yeah, they go to school every day." "All day?" "Yeah, pretty much all day they go to school." And they're like, "Oh, that's what that big yellow thing, yeah, it's a school bus," you know, and they're like totally ignorant. And they're like, "We want to go to school, Mom. We want to go to school. We want friends our own age." And I thought, yeah, I'd been dragging them around for 4 years, and I thought, okay, put you guys in school. So I put them in school, and I remember my first offer of a job right after they started school was the New Orleans Jazz Festival. They had like a Native American stage, you know. So being an Indian always helps in music, I guess. But yeah, and I said I can't. I just put them in school. I don't have a really support system, right? So I had to say, no, I can't. And after a few no's, man, they just quit asking. And eventually I had to get a part-time job because the music, they quit asking. Kids are in school. Pretty soon I need a full-time job. So pretty soon I'm just working. My kids are in school, and then I'm working a job. I quit thinking about music. I quit writing. I moved back home. I get another job, and years are going by. And I remember, you guys, I'm walking to my chicken coop with a pail of water thinking, God, I wonder if I could sing again. Nah, this is good. I like my chickens. I like this life. This is awesome. This is beautiful. We all evolve. This is what I am. Yeah. And 10 years, I didn't write nothing. And then I met my husband, and he didn't know that I was a singer. And his buddy's like, "Hey, man, you know, your old lady's a pretty big deal in Indian country, or she used to be." And he got his hands on a CD, and he came home, and he goes, "Why don't you do this?" I said, because I don't need to." "Why don't you want to?" I said, "Because I quit because my kids needed me. And he goes, well, your kids are grown up